Hey, what's the deal, y'all? It's your boy Big Star, 2RawForTheStreets Confessions. I haven't done one of these confessions in a while, man, but I had some time, so I just wanted to, address something that I get asked a lot, which is, Big Star, who are some of your personal favorite, 2RawForTheStreets MCs, or people may say, who you think, are some of the hottest, 2RawForTheStreets rappers that bless the camera. And I always say, it's just way too many to name, one. And two, I mean, I could never narrow it down to like a top 3 or a top 5 or even a top 10. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much all. It's definitely a large percentage of MCs that were definitely unique in their own way, and that doesn't take anything away from the other as it relates to any type of ranking or anything like that. I mean, that era bred just uniqueness, you know what I'm saying? No matter what part of the city an individual was from, I mean, their personal style and just guys just had some uniqueness, man. And there was plenty of guys that were, before their time. But if I had to answer the question, I definitely have some personal favorites. Not necessarily like the hottest or whatever, but I definitely have some of my personal favorites for various reasons. Then and now, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to attempt to share some of my personal favorites, and trust me, if you're not on this personal favorite list, don't take it personal, nothing like that. Honestly, this is just something that I came up with real quick. Just wanted to share. But it's tons more personal favorites that I don't have on this list, just because, I can't, I pretty much just might as well say everybody, I can't, I'm not gonna be able to talk all night. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just give you the individual, and I'm gonna just say a few things about each individual as it relates to why I like that individual. First off is Vodka Man, Vodka, the chosen one, 1,000 proof. Y'all know the story, man. I was summoned to come film a crew, Fat Tracks Entertainment. I'm filming them. It was a chick named Vaz, a couple young guys. Barrels, I believe, and they was all out there spitting, and it was a schoolyard. Across the schoolyard, I see, 2 kids walking up, brown skinned kid, a light skinned kid. They start spitting, and it was a completely different experience. And that, ended up being, Vodka was one of them, and Cheek Raw, but I'll talk about him later. But Vodka Man, I first met him, that was the day he spit I show off and all that kind of stuff, man. And Vodka Man, he was definitely a different individual. Honestly, one of the most different. The words I use are different, gifted, almost like a savant. If anyone, is familiar with that word, that term, almost like as if, Charlie Rainman from the movie with Charlie Babbitt and them, almost as if Rainman was an MC. That's the best way I can describe Vodka Man. Like way before his time, his brain was definitely wired different. I mean, I think I talked about him tons of times in the past. When you really sit back and think about the things that he was saying at 17 and 18 years old, I mean, still things that you really can't wrap your mind around. Just kind of where he was at and how he saw the world. I mean, gifted, man. I mean, those, his talent level back then and now. It's the type stuff, man, that those brilliant, songwriters and producers, guys in Motown, like that's the type level of talent that they had, man. But Vodka Man, I mean, his delivery, the on-off unorthodoxness of his style. I mean, there wasn't one of the things I liked about Vodka, and I'm gonna be brief, is several times, like during a rhyme, he may even stumble, not really stumble, but mess up or kind of get caught up, and he'll kind of go do this kind of like kind of thing, and then he'll kind of catch himself and just like still flow. You know what I'm saying? Like tons of times, several times that he may have stumbled or something like that, but it all still flowed. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense, man. He never met a beat that he didn't like, that he couldn't tear up. I mean, his lyrics, the depth of the stuff that he talked about was just on a whole nother level, man. Like the Wise Man joint, the Rehab joint, where he talks about all the different, drugs as if they were, people. Whole nother level, man. So Vodka, that's one of my personal favorite, and he'll always be one of my personal favorite, man. Monster Man, Scrap Metal, another, pretty much the same way that I describe Vodka Man almost, is the same way that I could just, describe Monster. One of the things that I liked about Monster Man is that, he was always just like, he would kind of go to this other place in his mind, and where he kind of gaze into the camera, almost like not even blinking sometimes. He would just be in a pure zone, man. I mean, like 1,000 leagues under the sea type deep, were his rhymes, man. I mean, I don't know like a personal favorite rap that he spit, but he spit, tons of raps for me, and each one of them were equally, hot, man. Like, never spit anything whack that just wasn't, something like that wasn't possible for Monster Man, to spit a whack rap. But a whole nother level, man, from his delivery, his flow, just his grittiness, man, the street. They had kind of some party jams, you know what I'm saying? But, Monster Man, hands down, another one that was way before his time. His mind was rap, completely different, man. He is a brilliant individual, a brilliant writer, man, for the stuff that he was able to come up with, at such young age. And I attribute that to, life experiences, being in the Philly area, where he came up, and just being able to just being gifted with the talent of being able to articulate his life experiences and put it on paper, man. Like, that's, a brilliant, skill and talent to have. Cree Forge, another one of my favorites, man. A 2RawForTheStreets, OG, one of the originals. I met him on the campus of Cheney University. And Cree, man, I mean, Tasker, South Philly, man, the Dead End. I mean, his flow, I mean, he kind of had that street mixed with the showmanship, the delivery, the cadence of his voice. He kind of bounced around on his lines, push the Beamer 745 sour apple green. You know what I'm saying? He's one who had those notable, punchlines, but not like, he didn't have to like this or like that or as like this. Not really a punchline to that effect, but just lines, like push the Beamer 745 sour apple green. The guts look like I'm sitting in some tapioca pudding, man. Lines like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get the picture, man. But I mean, he was always one of my favorite, man. And when he was saying it, you believed it. If he was in a battle, that kind of atmosphere. I mean, you definitely had to all eyes was on him. And the acapella that he spit at the garage, for Paco, that joint right there was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Something curry up and blast it, kind of looking out the plastic. I mean, just the way he, one of the things about Cree Forge was like, somebody else could have wrote some of the same things, but it just wouldn't have had the same effect. It was his delivery and then what he put into it that just made it so special, man. So Cree Forge, definitely one of my favorite, man. Slowrico, man, the $5 nigga. I mean, legendary, straight up hip hop, you know what I'm saying? The Heart of North, one of a kind. He had the fast flow. He could bounce on any beat, man. Truly unique. He came from the battle culture. He battled. He was on tracks, songs, ciphers. He just kind of embodied the whole old school, hip hop, head nod. And just, a little short cat that could just come through and rip it, man, and destroy any cipher, man. Like, truly, hip hop legend, Philly hip hop legend, and just a legend all across the globe. And that, $5 nigga freestyle, that's a joint that's legendary. I believe a couple cats, if you look on the internet, cats have remixed it and like added, like, one guy was doing some drums to it, another guy did, created the beat, but crazy, man, what I'm saying, legendary. So Slowrico is definitely one of my favorite. Hollow Man, Paper Chaser's Hollow Man is definitely another one of my favorite, hands down, man. H, his slick talking, what I'm saying, like real mature, no nonsense bars, man. He kind of comes from the that Erie Ave, what I'm saying, like the major figures, what I'm saying, like that kind of vibe, Spado and all those guys, how they was just talking so slick and just really delivering those words in a sharp way, what I'm saying, professional but street, dope, man. And the Ines Hollow Man battle, he proved that he can definitely step into the battle arena with his bars. It just wasn't, mixtapes or ciphers, all that kind of stuff. And his voice, all these guys that I mentioned, they all had this thing with their voice, you know what I'm saying? Definitely a sharp voice made for music. And, I'm sure over the years, a lot of guys have heard a lot of Hollow Man music, but, a lot of his old stuff, H knows one of my favorite joints is King Bread. From one of the old, Paper Chasers, CDs, classic material, man. So yeah, Hollow Man is definitely one of my favorite. Freeway, Philadelphia Freeway, another one of the 2RawForTheStreets originals. When I first met Free and those guys over at my man Tanner the Beast crib, I was just blown away because I had not, at that point in my life, at that point in my journey with the camera, I had not heard anyone just with that. He was just sick, man. Freeway was just on a whole nother level, man, back then and now. But back then, man, spitting those bars as a late teen, man, early 20s or whatever his age was back then, like one of a kind, cookie cutter, no cookie cutter. They broke the mold when they created Freeway's flow, from that rapid, machine gun type style, the voice, everything about freestyle was just crazy, man. And that how he would rhyme, how he wrote, his writing style was definitely unique as well. How he, it wouldn't be like, okay, I say this word and I rhyme that word. He would say a word, go somewhere else with it, and on the third or fourth bar come back and rhyme that word that was in the first bar. Like his style was completely unorthodox and unheard of, especially at that time. We're talking about like 98, 99, with a super advanced flow like that, man. So Freeway is definitely one of my favorite. Another one of his partners from Ice City, Petey Crack, still doing this thing strong to this day, man. Another one, super unique flow. Their writing style, it's no wonder that they were in a rap crew. And shout out to Indy 5 as well. It's no wonder that they were in a rap crew, just kind of, sitting around, I can imagine them sitting around kind of feeding off each other's energy and, kind of coming up with their team sound, but each individual kind of, perfecting their own style. But Petey Crack, man, was another one that's just, his style was all over the place. It was unorthodox, man, but it was like he had perfected it, almost like kung fu movies, like that drunken style. But it's so perfected, and it's not anything, Petey Crack style is the type where, it never fit into the Philly mold. Guys out of town may have heard an individual like Petey Crack, and you may not even really realize where he was from. You just knew that it was a style that you couldn't copy. It definitely wasn't a carbon copy type style. It was a style that was universal. If you was into hip hop, if you was into the streets, and when he started, prior to Rockefeller, ain't no doubt about it, I want, all that kind of stuff, all the mixtape stuff, man. He was tearing the streets up when you hear cats, riding through the hood playing that Petey Crack, man, for sure, man. So shout out to Petey Crack, one of my favorites. Cassidy, one of the punchline champions of Philly, man, and of the globe, man. Cassidy, what else can I say? Cause my handgun hold a whole clip and one like hot sauce. His punchlines, he just took the world by storm with his level of, there was punchlines and then there was Cassidy in a whole nother class. He pretty much, rewrote the book of punchlining and how to do it. And not just regular, it was, during that era, and then he definitely inspired a whole city of punchlинers, but no one could do it like Cassidy, man. His punchlines were completely different, on a whole nother level, especially during that time. His swag that he had with it, his confidence that he put into it, it was just different, man. And you pair him up with the right beat, history was made every time. Pretty Ugly, a name that a lot of people don't talk about much, but Pretty Ugly was definitely one of those cats where first it started with his voice. I don't think still to this day I've met anyone with a voice quite like his. Anyone where, you put the song on, whether it was a feature or one of his own songs, but as soon as you put it on and heard it, it was like, oh my God, who's this guy? Like, this voice is crazy. And, not a punchliner, more of a reality rapper. And he would pretty much rap style. he was pretty much a talker. You know what I'm saying? He just pretty much talked on the beat, and I believe, you know, that's my brother. He could tell you best. You know, I believe that's one of the ways that he had described his own style. I think he even said that in one of his songs, that he pretty much, he don't really rap. He just kind of talks to the beat, and that's what he would do. He would just kind of talk to the beat, express his feelings on whatever the topic was, and it was just hot, just because he was just that gifted of an individual. He could say anything, and it just sound good. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty ugly, man. And I'm gonna do another video about him in the future, but he was actually, you know, for younger guys, you know, that know Grand Theft Auto, he was on the Grand Theft Auto soundtrack and did a whole bunch of stuff, man, that, you know, a lot of people may not be aware of. My guy, RJ Payne, aka Rainman from back in the day, definitely hands down one of my favorite, man. One of my favorite then, and he's like, you know, I say he's like fine wine, man. You know, he's gotten better with time. I mean, he was sick then, but he's even crazier now. Shout out to RJ Payne, still doing his thing. You know, everybody from, you know, like the guys Royce to 5'9" and Papoose and all these heavy hitter, you know, lyricist guys. He's collaborating with them all, you know, continuing to put out his music. You know, he destroyed the, shout out to the guys, bars on I-95. He destroyed their podcast, their mixtape, you know, freestyle show. And, you know, my guy, I mean, from punchlines to just crazy bars and lines that'll just have you like, oh my God, like, what did he just say? I gotta rewind that, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the best ways I'll describe Paige. He has that high rewind value. If I play one of your songs or freestyle and just let it play through, or watch a YouTube video, just let it play through, and then after that I'm on to the next thing. Okay, it is what it is. But if I find myself rewinding it over and over and over, that's heavy. That's heavy right there. That if someone has a high rewatch value, as far as a freestyle or something like that, or a song or freestyle that you could just continuously put on repeat, is RJ Payne, man. You know what I'm saying? Ines, Bartram Village, man. Ines, he was another one that when I first met him down in the projects, shout out to my man Cree Forge, who put me on to Eness back in the day. He said, Star, I was battling this bull. I was going back and forth with him, and it was just neck and neck, man. You know, I had never went up against a guy like that, and it was Eness. When I first, you know, met him, his style was all over the place with the unorthodox, you know what I mean, style. With the voice fluctuating, you know, voice high, voices low, the bars, the punchlines. I don't know a way to kind of like pinpoint his style, but it was another one that, you know, you may not have really known where he was from unless he told you, because his style was just universal. You know what I'm saying? He could have been from Jersey. He could have been from New York. You know, he could have been from, you know what I'm saying, you know, just some other state. You know, somewhere in Cali even, you know what I'm saying, where the real hip hoppers are in Cali, who got them crazy flows like Ras Kass and all those guys. Enes's style was one of a kind, man. And definitely still shout out to him, still doing his thing to this day, you know, hot as ever. Another one of his partners, you know, YHM, shout out to Bruno Brinks, another one of my favorite. Freestyle champion, you know, I'd never met until, you know, next guy I'll mention as well, but one thing that was always, you know, special to my heart, you know, when I pulled out the camera, was somebody who can really freestyle. I'm talking about like off the top of the head, spur of the moment, you know, everybody knows the classic, you know, throw chicks' names at him when his homies was, you know, Tasha, you know, chick named Tasha. Sometimes better out Penrose, or Pop was a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that joint was crazy, man. Shout out to you, Brinks. That's still, you know, one of the most memorable, one of the most quoted, one of the hottest, you know, 2RawForTheStreets scenes and segments ever is when they was throwing the chicks' names at you, man. And I don't think I have to, you know, go into any too much detail. I mean, someone that can freestyle and in the moment, that quick, come up with stuff in the moment is brilliant, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, what you did, what you do, your talent back then, you know, the world needed to see it, man. So I was just glad that I had you know, was a part of being able to showcase that level of talent to the world. But I just wish that, you know, we had like a TV show back then, bro, like on MTV or something like that, so the world like really could have seen that as it was going down, bro, because that was freaking just amazing, man. So shout out to Bruno Brinks. Another one was my man Tanner the Beast. Another one that, you know, 2RawForTheStreets original, who could, you know, and not a lot of people got a chance to see this side. As I, continue to bring out some more of the archives, you guys will definitely see. But he's another one that could, go off the top of the dome and just freestyle for days, man. But like on point stuff, not just, babbling stuff, but just on point lyrics, man, off the top of the dome. And freestyles, songs, all that kind of stuff, man. Tanner the Beast is definitely one of my personal favorites. My brother right there, he knows it. But that Philly gritty, Philly flow, the punchlines, everything, man. I mean, and his brain was kind of like, one of the things I love and appreciate about Tanner the Beast is that his brain was almost like a dictionary, or like he would tap into, he would say a bar about like Battlestar Galactica or Tron or something, like something that'll have you like having to go back and research, and something, he'll have you going back and doing some research, you know what I'm saying? Like, wait, what did he just say? You know what I'm saying? Or refer to like an old, talk about Knight Rider and the cast of Knight Rider, you know what I'm saying? How you going back, into your old TV shows, you know what I'm saying? That's what he would do, you know what I'm saying? He would mention things that would kind of take you back, like, oh my God, he mentioned that in the rhyme, something I forgot about from my childhood. But that was him, man. His writing style was definitely crazy. I appreciated that, about him. CR the Star, Nina Ross, one of the hottest MCs, hands down, and throughout Philly history, especially at the DVD era. You can't talk about the DVD era without mentioning Nina Ross. Definitely one of the hottest, regardless of male, female. I've seen her shut ciphers down at recording studios. You know what I'm saying? Gritty, hard, street. Everything's believable. And she was hot, you know what I'm saying? Voice was dope. She was dope on songs, dope on mixtapes, and very professional. She knew how to carry herself, whether it was in a cipher, at the radio station, amongst, in a professional atmosphere, performance on stage. She was very polished. That's the word I'm looking for. And not everybody was polished like that, but Nina Ross was definitely polished, you know what I'm saying? She had the look, the voice, and, the whole package is what she had. So shout out to Nina. Joey Jihad, man. He's a global superstar, man. He has that showmanship, the personality, the swagger, everything that you want to mention, and it all carried across in his rhymes, man. Shout out to Joey Jihad, man. Definitely a guy that made a major mark in the Philly area and beyond. His writing style was different, not too many punchlines or anything like that, but definitely with the punchlines. But like the reality rap, the punchlines, just kind of fun stuff, man, that would just have you like bobbing your head, and you were always on the edge of your seat, listening to Joey Jihad spit rhymes, because he was just gonna say something that was gonna catch you, man. And just heat, man. Reed Dollars, man. Shout out to nephew Reed Dollars, man, and definitely another one of my favorites, from the DVD era, guys that I filmed. I mean, what else can I say about Reed? It's, if you're talking about battling, legendary. He's one of your favorite legends, you know what I'm saying? He's your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, your favorite battle rapper's favorite battle rapper. But besides that, though, he, during his time with Top Class and all those guys, put together some really good songs, performances, all that kind of stuff, man. But he was always the golden child. Always, could kind of captivate the crowd. When I pulled the camera out, he could just, he would draw you in, you know what I'm saying? Even at a young age, man, he was that's why they call him the general. He kind of had that old soul. That's the word I was looking for, man. He was way beyond his years, at 16, 17. He had an old soul. I'm not sure if that was just from his upbringing or just the older crowds that he was hanging around. But he definitely adopted an old soul, and that carried across in his rhyme style as well. Cheek Raw. I mean, come on. I just want a new handgun, a fishing to shoot. I'm gonna start like fishing with juice. Yeah, I mean, he that was his moniker, or he patented that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, just how he would enunciate his words, and that that the wife beater, the back alley freestyle. I mean, that's legendary. That's besides 2RawForTheStreets legendary. That's just a legendary rap right there. And you know, he had tons of others, man. You know, songs, all that kind of stuff, man, that he was doing, like the follow up with that. But you know, Cheek Raw, man. I mean, he's the grittiness. He was always gritty, always grimy. Had the hard punchlines, not just like a goofy kind of light punchline, but like a hard punchline that you know, whether you was in the streets or you was just, you know, like hip hop and like, you know, a good sound, you know what I mean? He definitely brought it, man. So Cheek Raw, definitely a legend. Stacks, you know, shout out to my man Stacks, part of the Next Level crew. You know, my man Stacks was, you know, he was definitely on his way, you know, before he went away, he was definitely on his way to becoming, you know, a poster boy of 2 Raw for the Streets. You know, he was definitely one of a kind, but he represented that Philly sound, but he definitely had a uniqueness to his style, and I believe that was a part of his crew as well. I believe his crew, the members of his crew, all kind of had that bring back. You know what I mean? They would rhyme 1 or 2 bars, go off somewhere else, and then come back to that with the rhyme. You know, kind of like how Freeway and then we're kind of doing back in the day. You know what I'm saying? That was his style as well. But, you know, whole nother level, man. His punchlines were crazy. He had the look, he had the charisma, he had the swag. You know, he would draw you in. And great personality, man. Awesome kid, awesome guy, man. That was my guy, man. Stacks, definitely one of my favorite. Another one, man, I don't want to go, you know, talk for, you know, over 20 minutes now, but one more I'll just mention before I pause this, and I may do another one just talking about some other guys. But, you know, last but not least is my guy Spinach, man. Spittage, man. You know, rest in peace. Everyone knows the one scene where he just tore it up, man, on the DVD. You know, Spinach, his from the griminess to the punchlines, he had the charisma. You know, he would draw you in as well with the personality in the raps. And you know, a legend, man. It's a bug above me, but definitely a legend, man. You know, shout out to Spinach, man, and his family and everything. But you know, oh, battles as well. You know, he's tons of battles he participated in all throughout the city during the DVD era that weren't caught on camera. You know what I'm saying, that he was tearing up, but you know, when the cameras came on, he was always ready to go. And you know, definitely was a major part of history, man. So those are a few of my favorite 2 Raw for the Streets MCs that blessed the camera. So you know, you don't have to ask me anymore. Those were a few of my favorites. So all right, so I hope you guys like this video. If you guys have any comments or questions about any of the guys that I mentioned, you know, leave some comments, you know, some of the things that you liked about those guys. And if there's anyone, you know, individuals I met, you know, not that I missed, but, you know, other individuals that you guys liked as well, you know, leave me some comments, leave me some quotables, some of the rhymes that you appreciated. And I'll see you all in the next video. All right, it's my confession.